Welcome to Switched On Schoolhouse, a CD-ROM-based homeschool curriculum from Alpha Omega Publications. In Switched On Schoolhouse Language Arts 500, your students will study units that cover topics from 4 major language disciplines: grammar, reading, composition, and spelling and vocabulary, with concepts like working with information, effective communication, poetry, working with words, reading and study skills, and much more. Now let's take a look at a 5th grade language arts lesson to see how concepts like these are covered. In a unit entitled Effective Communication, let's look at a lesson called Sensible Sentences. Most Switched On Schoolhouse lessons begin with a brief introduction and a list of objectives for the lesson. These objectives help students stay focused on important lesson content and provide parents with an effective way to measure mastery of lesson content. At the beginning of most lessons, your students will also encounter a list of vocabulary words that will be used throughout the lesson. We've included several activities to encourage mastery of these important words. For example, students can hear the correct pronunciation of each word.
Metaphor. Predicate.
In addition, the vocabulary arcade games encourage mastery of the vocabulary words by providing practice in the correct spelling of each word and in matching each word with its definition. Let's look at a sample. Flashcards allow students to easily review the words and their definitions. After this introductory material, your students then move independently through the lesson, reading the text-based instruction and utilizing the multimedia features that have been provided. Many lessons include small instructional videos, sometimes called tiny tutors. The teachers featured in these small video clips provide special instructions, additional information, and important tips for students.
The reason why you get confused when the words of a sentence are all mixed up is because our English language relies on word order to communicate meaning. The subject usually appears on the left, the verb in the middle, and the object on the right. Here's an example. Phil petted the dog. Now, if I switched the words around and I said, the dog petted Phil, you'll see that the sentence meaning has changed because the word order is different. Not all languages work this way. In fact, some languages allow Phil petted the dog and the dog petted Phil. And those sentences will mean the same thing because the language has other ways of marking which word is the subject, the verb, and the object. English used to work this way, but over time, English has come to rely on word order.
A variety of audio-visual presentations, including videos, slideshows, and animations, provide reinforcement of lesson content. Animations like these may help your student understand predicates.
What does a predicate do in a sentence? How is it different from a subject? Is it the same thing as a verb?
My, you have a lot of questions. Let's start with something simple like the ball. The word ball is a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. It can also be a subject of a sentence. But without a predicate, all we've got is a noun. But now let's add a predicate. The ball bounced down the stairs. With the predicate down the stairs, we know more about the ball. We know what it did. It bounced. The predicate helps to complete the thought begun by the subject. And once you've got a subject and a predicate, you've got the makings of a sentence.
Web-enabled links allow students to safely use the Internet to locate carefully chosen supplements to course content. At the end of the lesson, the student is presented with a series of questions that provide a review of lesson content. Questions are presented in a variety of formats,
Nice job.
including matching, fill in the blank, true and false, sequencing,
Correct.
multiple choice, click and place, essay questions, and many more.
Good answer.
85 to 90% of student work is graded instantly by the program. Answers are automatically saved as the student works through the questions, and immediate feedback is given after each question has been answered. If a parent has set the program to allow for multiple attempts, students will be looped back through the lesson to answer questions that were marked wrong on the first attempt. The lesson is complete when all questions have been answered correctly or when the student has exhausted his allowed attempts on each question. The student can then return to the home page to continue through the rest of his daily assignments.